Greetings, beautiful people. This is SB Favor Thinking, and my name is SB Favor. Well, we have a topic we're going to talk about today, and I have a guest host. This is AStar. Your name is AStar, right?
You can call me
No,
AStar.
Angela. Actually, her name is Angela. She goes by AStar, a friend of more than 25 years. So we're going to just be talking about random topics today. But you had a question for me. What was the question, Ange?
I sure did. Why do good people do bad things?
Well, I think good people do bad things sometimes because unfortunately all of us was born into sin, as the Bible say, right? So we by nature are shaped in iniquity. I know some people don't even want to hear all that, the Bible sometimes, like, oh boy, here she go going to the Bible. But guess what? I have to go to the Bible because that is the source of all knowledge. God is the source of all knowledge. So I think that people are born, we were made perfect in God's sight. But I think that when we were born into this world, we were born into a bad situation. So I think that by nature, people have a tendency to do what is wrong and what is evil because that's their nature. The Bible says that no good thing dwells in the flesh. Now, of course, because God made us in a good way, we do have a side of us that have the potential and the ability to do what is good and right. So we get to pick and choose sometimes, when to do
Right.
right or wrong. But then sometimes it depends on where that person is in their life, based upon what they've been through in their life, how they were raised, their experiences. So all of those things can determine if a person will do right or wrong. So, but and then there are levels to what is right and wrong. Of course, we know that. But to answer your question, I think that people tend to do what is wrong based upon their mindset and their life experiences. I believe, I was born and raised with two parents that, knew God and went to church. So most of my life, that's all I know is the church, right? And so I was told to do what's right. And then it didn't mean I grew up in a perfect household or I grew up and I was a perfect person, but I tried to do what was right. Now on the other hand, a person can grow up where they have parents that are not together. They're in the divorce household. The father lives somewhere else, the mother lives somewhere else, and that person grows up with a certain type of mindset, and they have a stronger tendency to do evil because of pain, because of their life experience. So I hope that answers your question.
Well, I mean, I think it did, and I really think it's based on, like you said, where people are at, in their life. Because I think that sometimes people can, I mean, you can grow up in a church environment, and still do, you can have your father could be a pastor. I mean, I don't know for personal experiences. I didn't grow up with, my father being a pastor, but I know people that had, and
Right.
they turned out to be doing stuff, as like you said, we were, it should,
Wait a minute, we having some technical difficulties. Go back to what you said. They grew up in a house and they grew up in a house with a pastor and they did what? Say that again.
they grew up in a household, that was, they went to church, they did all the things of I guess what a preacher's child,
Would
but
do. Hmm.
but but they chose to go a different path, a different
Well,
direction.
yeah, that can happen too,
You know,
that can happen too. I mean, my mother is a strong believer. My father, he believed, but he wasn't what you call, a strong believer. But my
right?
mom, I think, yeah, you can go astray, but I think my mom, she played a part in just basically telling my siblings and myself, to do what was right. But, a person that grows up in a godly environment or a good environment and they still go astray, sometimes, they go astray because um, something they was exposed to outside their house. You know what I mean? And then of course sometimes I believe that generational curses are real. I think that if you look at people in different families, you find that some people, they grow up a certain way and everything's okay with them, and then you look at other family members and you see that certain ones have issues that others don't. So um it varies, from person to person, but I just think that people overall, we get to choose, the type of life that we want to live. And I think that sometimes people, they justify their wrong and their evil based upon the pain they've been exposed to. And then some people are not working on themselves, so they're going to just continue to do what's wrong or evil.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I agree with that. I think honestly, it's a work in progress. We all have to. I mean, for me, just from my own experience of the things that I've done, I'm not saying I'm perfect. I think we all have flaws, but I
Yes.
know I strive to be a better person. And do I fall short? Absolutely.
Right.
Um, but we're all saved by His grace and His mercy. You know what I
Yes.
mean? And that's what it's all about. It's all about, like, okay, I did something bad. Now I need to, like, repent, or
Right.
ask for forgiveness,
Right.
or whatever, you choose, whatever your choosing is of that. And then not do it again. And sometimes we do it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and when we keep doing it again, when do we finally, like, say, okay, enough is enough?
Well, like I said, some people are progressively daily working on themselves, and then some people aren't. Some people get up in the morning with the thought of, okay, I want this to be a good day, and I'm going to be my best self today. And then some people get up in the morning like, I don't give a F. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's real talk. I don't curse, but that's real talk. So, and it's sad that some people have that type of attitude because they don't have to. We all have to be accountable for ourselves and our actions and what we say and what we do. And as we are accountable for our actions can actually help someone else. Because if I love you and show you my best self, then that imparts something into you so that you can give it to somebody else, right? So we're like a chain, and so that chain represents a connection. Chain in a good way when I say chain now. But people sometimes don't understand the power of imparting to the next person. They don't understand that. If I walk into a store right now and I see a bunch of strangers, if I am loving and kind and sweet to them, that's going to change everybody's day that had an experience with me. And then they will have the ability to possibly change somebody else's day because I was sweet to them. Right? So
right. It's like a domino effect.
Absolutely, that's perfect.
It's like a domino effect. So
Yes.
if you see somebody and you smile at them, or whatever they call it, domino effect, pay it forward, however you want to put it. I mean, I can tell you how many times that I've been in Starbucks in the line,
right?
And when I go up to order my, when I go up to do the drive-thru and I go up to order my food or my drink. Somebody ahead of me paid for my drink.
Wow, see, that's
awesome.
And
that's a lot. That has happened to me a lot of times.
Right.
And I've done the same too. Maybe not as much as somebody else, but I've done the same too. You know what I mean? It's just a matter of just something. Sometimes something will hit your spirit.
Absolutely.
And if they, let's do something. I remember when I was living out in California, and I seen this man. I was coming home from work, and I seen this man. It was hot. I mean, it was scorching hot outside.
Right.
And he had no shoes. He had no shirt on. He had a pair of pants on that was barely. He was holding on to his pants.
Right.
And it looked like he had been out in the hot sun. His back was like he had all these different marks on his back, like from the heat, like I guess, like all these warts and stuff like that. And I couldn't just walk past him.
Wow.
I couldn't just walk my spirit said, go and take care of him.
Wow.
So I went and I pulled over and I said, look, I'm going to go right in his store and I'm going to get you something. Just stay right there, right? Well, he said, okay. So he went and walked over somewhere in the parking lot. And then I went in there. Luckily, there was flip-flops that were comfortable for him to wear. I bought him a T-shirt.
Wow.
And I gave him $15. And in my mind, all I was saying is, I just need to help this man. You know, that's all I knew. I need to help him because he was suffering.
Right.
You know, anybody else would have been laughing at him or, you know, just looking at him like he crazy or whatever. But I had to do what was in my heart and in my spirit.
That's a key point right there. You mentioned the word heart and spirit. And also, I want to say that you paid attention. You paid attention to what your spirit and what your heart was saying. Your spirit, you know, when I use the word spirit, as you stated, you know, you use the word spirit, that is a part of your inner person, your spirit. You know, it's a part of yourself that is so pure and so good. And we all have that. But guess what?
Yeah.
Some of us don't pay attention to it.
No, we don't. We ignore it.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Because what will happen is you may be in a line,
right?
Grocery store line, and something will tell you, I believe it's God. You know, other people will say something else.
Yes.
But it'll say, it'll hit you and say, go pay for her groceries.
Wow.
And you're in your mind like, wait a minute, I can barely pay for my own. What do you mean? Pay for her groceries. She got a $300 bill.
Right,
but
right,
you don't
right.
know. I mean, God, and that's how it works. You know, God will provide for you.
Right,
you know
right,
what I mean?
Right.
But then the other thing is you got to remember you don't want to be stupid either because there have been times where you help people and they don't want to help themselves. So
yeah,
that's another topic.
I mean, in all things too, according to what you said, basically is if you pay attention, you can do what's right. If you sit down and think about your actions and how you treat people, the things you say, the things we may say, how we think, we have the ability to do what is right. Some people, sadly, they will just do what's wrong in the moment, but then sometimes they'll think about it later. But then some people just have a mindset like, I don't care all the way through. And I just think that kind of person, their mind is just almost like it's seared. You know what I mean? Like their conscience is not there anymore. I just think that the more good you do and the more you try to do what's right, I think that's the path of getting closer to God. That's what I believe.
And you're right, but the thing is, there's also people that will do good, expecting something in return.
Oh Lord, now
and
you
that's
done.
Now you done. And that's not a good thing.
You done touched into, you done walked over into a whole nother topic now. Oh Lord.
And that'll be another topic, I guess, because you're right. You have people that will do good, expecting something in return.
Yeah.
Or because just because somebody did good for them, they feel that they have to do good for that person, and that's not the case. You should want to do stuff unconditionally.
Absolutely.
Out of the kindness of your heart.
Absolutely.
Not because this person did something for you 5 years ago and you want to pay them. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be that. It should be in your spirit.
Well, we're gonna follow up with that.
Yeah, we will have to have another conversation on that. So
yeah.
But yeah, this. I guess let's conclude. You kind of hit it on the nail. Why good people do bad things, and a lot of times people run with their ego. You know what I mean? It's either and so. Well, it's sad that we live in a world like that.
Yes.
Because I believe in my heart of heart, there are good people.
Yes,
but they're just misguided.
Yeah. So on that note, we're going to wrap it up.
Okay.
I thank you for
You're
sharing
welcome.
and asking the questions. And we will follow up with the other question. Why do people do things for other expecting something in return? That's a really really good one. That's a good one. We're gonna follow up with that on our
Okay.
next podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Once again, my name is SB Favor, and you can reach me at my email, sbfavor@yahoo.com. You also can reach me at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at SB Favor. Thank you so much for listening and have a good day.